Thanks for joining us here at Functional Bliss, where Audra and Jessica will guide you through exercises and wellness techniques to help you live your best life every day. It's in the name, after all, Functional Bliss. Before you do anything else, click like and subscribe and ring the bell so you'll know whenever we put up a new video. To join our Blissful Gang for live Zoom classes where you can get more direct suggestions and encouragement, go to our website and sign up. Check the class description below for any equipment needs, grab your gear, and let's get started.
And we are going to start in a bit of standing work today. So get your gear nearby, and we are going to start with some pumping elbows. So like we're going for a little bit of a jog this morning. So we're going to start by just lightly pumping the elbows, just shifting one elbow. And then once you've got that going down, do tiny little gentle bops of the knees. Doesn't need to be extreme. We'll get to the knees in another minute. And then kind of notice here, just like how do your arms, your shoulders, the armpit, chest area. And now like the underlying tone of our work today is a little bit lymphatic. So we're just kind of moving in these pumping rhythms to kind of move the lymph of our body. All right, now we're going to take it into a nice little pump of the arms. So arms are going to pump up, arms are going to pump down, and you're still going to keep that light little bounce of your knees. So you're going to kind of notice, how's your energy level feeling? How do your arms and shoulders feel? How do your knees feel? So lymph doesn't move itself. It moves because we exercise. It moves because we pump in particular places. So think armpit, pits of the knees, in the groin, those types of areas where we can make movement happen. All right, time. Now take it into some light little knee lifts. March one knee and then the other. And then kind of notice here, how does your hips feel? How do your feet feel? How do your knees feel? If it feels good, get a little pump of the arms going again. 10 more seconds of work here. All right, and then when you're ready, we're going to take it into some nice knee circles. So you're just going to pull one knee across the midline of your body, and don't worry about like getting this form right. Just think about moving your thigh bone in the hip socket. So we just kind of want to move one leg, then the other, and then just kind of notice, how does that external rotation feel? Are you feeling a little stagnant in the hips? Do you feel a little clicking or anything funky going on? There's no right or wrong, but just notice. And time, nicely done. Okay, now we're going to take it into a half jack, and then a little baby roll down. So you're going to bend your knees a lot, roll right back up, do a half jack, a little baby roll down, and a little roll up. And so it doesn't need to be like that deep intentional roll down, roll up. So just soften your knees, draw your belly in, roll your way down. Notice, how does your back feel? How do the backs of your legs feel? Take one more time through just so you're all evened out, and then grab the weights that you feel like will work the best for you. So the first step, it's going to be a good morning. But if you want to stick with holding onto your weights the whole entire time, go light to medium. If you're going to vary it up, go with your heavy ones here. So we're going to load up at the shoulders, elbows slightly away from the side of the body, a little micro bend in the knees, hip hinge, come to that halfway point, push down into your heels, squeeze your glutes as you come up to the top. We've got 1 minute on the clock. Take this work at your pace. Focus on keeping the shoulders stacked down, the tailbone slightly drawing down. So even as you do that hip hinge, we're going to keep a focus on that nice long spine. And then your eyes are going to follow the movement. So your head is going to stay in line with the spine, which means you're looking down at the floor as you bend over, and then straight forward as you come up. Nice job. You're already halfway there. We've got 10 seconds left, but from this move, if you're going continuous motion, you're not going to put the weights down. You're going to reposition yourself in about 2 seconds to take it right into a bent over wide row. So hip hinge, bend over, elbows are going to come out nice and wide, lower down with control. We want to go up and down at a similar even pace. See if you can stack those shoulders down. So we want to think the shoulder blades are gliding down the back, ribs are drawing in towards each other, tailbone draws down just a little bit. So we want to just keep that belly nice and firm, as if somebody's going to come in to give you a little tickle or to give you a light little tap to the abdomen. We want to keep that firmness there so the back feels nice and supported. Nice job. You're already halfway there. We've got 20 seconds left, but I'm going to talk you through where we're heading next. If you're just going to stick with that continuous movement, we'll go down, use our weights as a kickstand and do alternating rear leg lifts. But if you think that would feel a little bit better supported from a chair or from a wall, then you'll move yourself, reposition, and then get ready for that work at the place that feels the most supported and beneficial to you. If you're ready, we're going to take it right down a little bit further. So you're going to get a little funky grip. You're going to place your weights down on the ground, use them as kickstands, and now we're going to alternate. One leg is going to lift and then the other. Doesn't matter how high your leg lifts, that's not what we're going for. What we're shooting for is that sense of control or stability in our center. So we want to lift that leg up, keep a little bit of a firmness in your center. You're not wobbling all over the place. You're going with nice control. Yes, you guys, that looks amazing. Beautiful work. Once you've got that going on, your gaze will be down at the floor. So your eyes are focused on that space right between your weights. Nice job. 10 seconds left. All right, as you prepare to come up, take your weights with you. We're going to move it right up into a staggered stance. So lift yourself on up, stagger your stance, hold on to your weights. Start with a jogging arm, and now we're going to add a little bit of element of power. So we're going to stagger our stance or take it into a deeper lunging position. And now you're going to go power punch, hold it for a second, power punch, hold it for a second. So we want to pause in that power and then take it. We got 30 seconds with 1 foot back. We'll switch our stance at the 30-second mark. So give it a little power punch and then a power on the other side, and let's see if you can just hold. So you want to firm up your center, get a little bit unbalanced in your stance so that you can find that power, find that connection at your center to keep yourself nice and stable. You guys look awesome. Great job. All right, when you're ready, switch your stance. Everything else stays the same. Back to that power move. If you need to find it again, do a couple little pumps just so you can feel that swing of your arms. And then once you feel stable, add that bit of power. Pause at the edge of that power. Hold your stance. Nice job. All right, if you're hanging on to those weights, hang on to them. And now we're going to take it into a little shuffle, bounce, bounce. So we're going to shuffle and bounce. 1 foot forward, 1 foot back, do a little shuffle, do a little bounce. You don't even have to make your feet leave the ground. You can step, bounce your knees. So if that feels like a better and safer maneuver, do it like that. Hang on to your weights if you can, just so it adds that little bit of challenge to the arms. Get that little staggered stance, do a little bounce, switch feet, do a little bounce. Get your heart rate up, get your breath up a little bit. And again, we think about this as a movement for the lymphatic system. So bouncing, all exercise, any of those pumping movements, all really good for the lymphatic system, which is really good for our health, for our immunity. "20 seconds left. You got this." All right, moving right onto a nice wide stance. Pivot with the bicep curl, but add the knee dip. So we're gonna go for that continuous movement again. Arms are gonna open out nice and wide. Pivot, knee dip, bicep curl, always moving. If you don't like that knee dip, leave that part off, but keep everything else nice and fluid. Your feet are pivoting, your hips are rotating, arms are moving. Yes, nice job. And time, beautiful. All right, set your weights down to the side. Last move in standing, we're gonna go hand weights free just to find a little integrity in the back of the body. So we're gonna hook our thumbs. You're gonna get a little hook hold of your thumbs. You're gonna keep that nice little hook. You're gonna get a little bit of an idea of pulling apart and take it into an air squat. So you're gonna sit back into your squat, keep your thumbs hooked, lower down, and that's the work. A tiny bit of tension there. So you wanna pull apart on your thumbs so that you feel a little bit of lighting up in the backs of your shoulders, in the back of your body. You can keep your arms up or let them move with you, totally up to you. But find that little bit of tension. All right, and if you have one hook thumb and you want to switch and do a little bit of reverse, switch the hook in your thumbs, keep that tension. And time, nice job. Okay, loosen up your arms, give them a little shake. We're gonna come down into our V-sit. We need our toe booty band. And this is the one that we're gonna do with the tongue circles, the thumb circles, and we're gonna sit back into a V-sit. So it's a lot going on. First, find your V-sit. You're gonna take your looping band between your two thumbs. So both thumbs are in your band. Now we're gonna do a little bit of an interlace of the fingers as we circle the thumbs. Lean back into your V-sit, get those thumb circles going. And now you're gonna keep your mouth closed, circle your tongue or trace your tongue around the inside of your lips or around the inside of your teeth, however you get there. But we just want that tongue drawing those circles. We've got 1 minute on the clock. I'll tell you at the 30-second mark, if your tongue's going in one direction and your thumbs are going in one direction, you'll switch at the 30-second mark. Don't lose that V-sit. Focus on those thumbs, working on those tongue circles. We got 3 seconds left. All right, when you're ready, reverse your directions, go the other way. "15 seconds left. Woo, and time. Let all of that go. Wiggle out your thumbs, wriggle out your face just a little bit, sit up nice and tall, set your band off to the side. Now we're going for a halfway roll back. So you can either hold on to your thighs or hands out in front of you, but we're gonna curl back just enough. You're gonna feel your core muscles kick on, roll right back up nice and tall. Roll back halfway, right to the edge where you feel those abdominal muscles really kick on, and then lift yourself back up. We've got 1 minute on the clock. You take this work at your pace. And how far back you go, where do you feel the strongest? Where are you in the most control before you would collapse backwards? So we want to be able to come to that edge and then sit ourselves right back up. You've got it. Nice job. "15 seconds left." And time. Nice job. Okay, first grab your toe band. We're going to put the toe band now around the two big toes. So we're going to get our band around the two big toes, and I'm going to switch my view just so that make sure you can see. So we're going to extend our legs out in front of us. We're going to keep a good bit of space between the two big toes. I like to go for at least 2 centimeters if you can find it. So we want a tension on the two big toes. We're going to spread the other 8 toes just as wide as we can to keep the feet nice and active. And then if you want a little add-on, you're going to grab your hand weights. You're going to keep that tension between the big toes. You're going to keep a nice bent elbow hold. And now we're going to just move the big toes up and down. So we're going to keep that tension, keep that space between the two big toes. So we want about 2 centimeters if we can, retaining that tension the whole time. And then we're moving the big toes down, moving the big toes up, and trying to move the 4 small toes. If they're moving, move them in the opposite direction. So 4 toes up as the big toes go down. We've got 1 minute on the clock. Keep that overhead hold if you can, or keep that bent elbow hold if you can. But if you want a little extra, it's going to be arms up and overhead. So find the place where you feel the strongest this morning. Sometimes though, just the work on the toes is enough. So if you're like, I'm working on my toes and that's what really matters to me right now, you can set the weights down and just bring your focus right to your toes. Five seconds left. And time. Lower your arms. Keep that band around your toe, but like loosen up for a second if you need to, or give everything a little wiggle if you need to. But we're going to go back to that tension between the two big toes. But now the feet are going to stay pretty stationary, and we're going to take it into our funky grip. So we're going to go elbows nice and tight to the side of the body. Keep that little space between the big toes. So we want just that slight pulling out sensation. That's what we're shooting for down at the feet. Hold and maintain that tension. We're going palms facing down, doing the doorknob turn. So we're getting that funky grip. Keep your elbows nice and tight. We got 1 minute on the clock. If at any point the toe band around your toe becomes too much, you can take it off. If this feels like really good work and you're finding good intentionality down at your feet and you're like, yeah, this is where it's at, that little extra focus up at that doorknob turn, but keep that good amount of tension down at your feet. All right, when you're ready, set your weights down. Take a second to shake everything off. Remove that toe band from around your toes. Give your toes a nice little wiggle jiggle. Make sure everything feels good. And then we're going to go back to using our hand weights, but now you can set your toe band off to the side. We're going to take it into a sit-up with 4 cross punches. So we're going to load up at the chest. Come back into your sit-up, all the way up. Punch 4 times across the chest. Load back up at the chest. Back to your sit-up, do 4 cross punches, and away we go. We've got 1 minute on the clock. Take this work at your pace. I like that exhale to help me on the effort, which is good for the hip health. If you're not focused on hip health and you don't care about the breath, you can leave that part off. If sit-ups, for whatever reason, do a little something funky to your tailbone, and you don't love it and it doesn't feel good in your body, stay in V-sit, just work the punches. But if the sit up and down feels okay, add those 4 punches, come up and down at the pace that makes the most sense to you. "13 seconds left." And time. Nice job. Okay, we're going to move our weights just a little off from our sides because we're going to take it into a little bit of a baby get up. So I'm going to do one side for 30 seconds, one side for the other 30 seconds, but I'm going to start facing out to you. So I'm going to hold on to the back of my left thigh. You're going to come down into a little roll off onto the side, but hold that out bottom leg up and lifted, roll back, push into your thigh, roll off to the side. See if you can hold that leg up. We got 30 seconds on the side. So think of this as sort of a baby get up. So you're going to hold on, keep a little tension in the back of that thigh, roll off to the side of the hip, keep that leg lifted if you can. Your arm is going to help catch and support. You may feel your tricep muscle and your bicep muscle also kick on to help. This is what I would consider the fun one for the day. All right, when you're ready, we're going to switch to the other side. Grab the back of your thigh, give it a roll onto your side, catch it, roll yourself back. We got 30 seconds on this side. Take the work at your pace. One side might feel different than the other. You might have better control. So just kind of tune in and notice, how does one side feel compared to the other? Nice job. And time. Beautiful. All right, now we're coming down for a slightly wide hip bridge. So if you do want your hand weights to load up on your hip bridge, go ahead and grab them, where we're going to step the feet just slightly wide. So rather than them being perfectly hip width distance apart, toe heel the feet out so they're maybe 2 steps away. Turn the toes out slightly like your toes are pointing towards the corners of your mat. Exhale, we're going to lift up nice and high, squeeze the glutes. Inhale to lower down. If you want your hand weights, just load them up right at those front hip points. If you're working on the adductor tension, you might choose to take your looping resistance band around the thighs instead. But we've got 1 minute on the clock. You're going to work this at your pace and at the depth that feels the best to you. For my hip health friends, exhale as you lift up. Inhale as you lower down. "15 seconds left." As you do these last 15 seconds here, just kind of tune in and notice, how are your hip bridges feeling? The next move we're going to go towards is a hip bridge held up, and then we're going to walk the feet forward and back. So if your knees are feeling like they just want a little extra care, be mindful with the next move. All right, toe heel your feet in back to about hip width distance apart. Now we're going to lift our hip bridge up and hold and start to walk the feet forward, walk them out towards the end of your mat, just as far as you can go where you don't lose control, and then walk them right back in. We're going to keep the butt lifted the whole time if we can. Walk your feet out and walk your feet back in. If at any point this becomes too fatiguing and you need to take a break, set your butt down, catch your breath, and then come right back up, walk back out, walk back in. You can also just drop down in between each move. So you could walk out, lower down, walk back in, lower down. Anything that gets you the work that feels really good in your body. 10 seconds left. And time. Nice job. Okay, lower your butt down. We're going to take the right leg across the left. So get a figure 4 here. It's going to be a figure 4 hip bridge and then a figure 4 lift to the chest. So single leg, you're going to push down into that single leg, lift your hips just as high as feels good, lower down, pull your legs to your chest, lower it back down. So we're going to, for 30 seconds, alternate between the two. Lift up, lower down, lift the legs, lower down. You've got it. You can do just one single move if one feels particularly better than the other, but if it feels good to alternate between the two, we've got about 10 more seconds of work here. All right, the next time your figure 4 lifts towards your chest, the last 30 seconds on this side, you're just going to thread your hands through, either grab the back of the thigh or the top of the shin, but rather than pulling it into the chest for a squeeze, you're going to create a little tension. So you're going to hold on firm, and then you're going to think about pushing the leg that's in that figure 4 configuration. You're going to push that leg down, and you're going to try to hold that tension. We got 30 seconds on the clock. You're going to hold that tension just as long as you can. So my right leg is across. It's my right leg that's doing the work. My hands are helping hold to create some tension. The left leg is helping hold to create a little tension, but the right leg is pushing down. So you may feel it on the outside of your thigh. You may feel it on the outside of your glute. A nice steady breath here, but keep that tension. And time. Now, before you release all the way, pull those legs into your chest, get a nice little gentle squeeze. And then when you're ready, we're going to release, switch our figure 4 to the other side. So left leg is going to come across the right or opposite side, whatever side you were working on. It's going to be 30 seconds of that single leg hip bridge and then lifting up to the chest. Now, one side might feel very different from the other, so you may choose a variation here that makes the most sense to you. I like that exhale as I lift my butt up, and I like the exhale as I pull the legs into my chest, but you do the breath work that makes the most sense to you here. All right, now the next time you lift up, thread your hands through, either hold on to the back of the thigh or the top of the shin, but now we're going to create that tension. So arms are going to hold strong, right leg is going to hold strong, left leg, the leg that's in that figure 4 shape, that's the leg that's doing the work. It's going to push down. We're going to create that tension and hold that tension as long as you can. A nice steady, even breath here, but the whole time that left leg is pushing downward. And time. Before you release, pull it in, give it a little squeeze. And then when you're ready, release both feet nice and wide, take it into some big giant windshield wipers, just swish your legs side to side, get as much big movement here as you can find. Awesome. One more little swish of those knees side to side. And then when you're ready, grab the backs of your thighs, rock and roll your way up to a seated position. We're going to go legs out in front of us, super generous, bend the knees, arms up and overhead. And we're just going to do those little grabbing starts. You're going to climb your ribs up, reach your arms up, do that little clawing, grabbing with the hands, just to kind of release any tension around the thumbs or fingers that we may have found there. Give a couple little more grabs of the stars. And then once you feel like you couldn't possibly climb your ribs up any higher, keep your ribs up nice and high, lift up and over, reach towards your toes. Does not matter if you can touch your toes. We want to feel like a little stretch in the low back area. So find a little bit of length through the spine, soften into that fold, take 3 nice big breaths. Beautiful. When you're ready, come up nice and slow out of that fold. We're going to come all the way up to a standing position. So as you come up to your standing position, we're going to just do that little crisscross. So one foot's going to cross over the other, line up your pinky toes, and we're just going to real quick take just a fold. So you're going to bend down, reach towards your toes. Doesn't matter if you can touch your toes, just go as far as feels good to you there. Nice, come up nice and slow and controlled. And then when you're ready, we're going to switch, crisscross your feet the other way, and then right back down to your fold. Go just as far. So one side may feel different than the other. So you want to honor both sides. Just go as far as feels comfortable. Beautiful. Come up nice and slow. Uncross your legs. And just to finish, just to give your hips a little happiness at the end, do a couple of big generous circles, circle in one direction. Circle the other way. Nice. You guys are amazing. Grab your massage balls if you're sticking around and your chair, because we're going to do a little extra feet and hamstrings today. So hopefully a chair that you can sit comfortably in with your balls. And then just depending on what set you have, I've got my netted set today.